So my name is Aya, Aya, Hussein, Hussein.
Okay, and what are you out here doing today?
So today is a day of mourning, and it is going to start and kickstart our week of rage, which is a week that is based on protesting all of the U.S.'s decisions to continue to arm Israel with all the power to continue to genocide the Palestinians. So we here at ISU, we're trying to make it as very clear from our at least little corner of the world that we want our administration, our educational institution, to stop its arming and stop any kind of funding that can contribute to Israel.
And how is ISU currently funding, or what is their relationship with Israel right now?
So currently, they are partnering with Caterpillar, and they're doing so not just with the new School of Engineering that they're building right now, but they're getting a lot of partnerships and a lot of employees future employees from our own students who work at Caterpillar. And Caterpillar is very well known for creating bulldozers that are armed, and in fact, Guinness World Record, the most armed bulldozers to exist, which are then being used by Israel to bulldoze Palestinian homes. And that's not to mention their other work with companies like Siemens, who also continue to help arm Israel with surveillance equipment. So we want ISU to divest from any and all of those companies and go local to not only help our local community, but also stop any kind of further apartheid that is happening.
So you say you were here mourning. This is a vigil. Who specifically are you mourning on this day?
So we are mourning all the lives lost. October 7 marks a year of genocide, but it also it isn't the beginning of everything that happened. That happened way back in 1948. And it's just like a culmination of all of those souls unfortunately lost. And what we're mourning is the lives being lost right now, and maybe in the future lost because of inaction. And I do want it to be clear that while we are mourning Palestinians and we have a heavy emphasis on Palestine, we are also mourning for the Israeli citizens who have died. And, you know, if only Israel stopped its occupation, those lives would have never had to be lost in the first place.
So not just for the 40 plus thousand lives in Gaza, but also for the 1,139 that were killed on October 7th last year. You think it's at all provocative, or that it might be taken the wrong way, like optically, to hold an event on October 7th like this?
I think October 7th is very much an intersectional kind of day where both Jewish and Palestinian lives have been lost very unfairly. And I think it marks it doesn't just mark, but it even exemplifies all of the years of suppression that Israel has put on the Palestinian people. And so while I understand that some people might think that this can be provocative in a way that can be seen as some kind of only focus on the Palestinian lives, but in reality it's a focus on everybody who has been lost.
Yeah, so a lot of people on the other side will say, you know, if only Hamas would just lay down their arms and release the hostages, there would be peace and tranquility. Do you have a response to that at all?
The only reason Hamas started is because it is a resistance group, and if you grew up your entire life seeing your sisters and your brothers and your mothers and your fathers die over and over, and you have nothing to do but take up arms, you will take up arms. So many militias have been created over history, and none were considered terroristic, but now that it is not in the Western lens anymore, then it's considered terroristic. And the thing is, the Hamas and everything that happened with them is a culmination of Israeli apartheid. And so if Hamas put down their arms, that doesn't mean a new resistance isn't going to rise. It is going to rise. So we have to take care of the problem at hand, the root of it, which is the Israeli government and the apartheid that they put.
Do you support a ceasefire where all the fighting ends and all the hostages are released?
Absolutely, I support a ceasefire. I support anything really that stops this kind of ridiculous slaughter at this point. And I do support, as a person, just, you know, Jewish and Muslims and Christians, they have always been living in peace in that area up until the colonization of Israel and just their sudden showing up to the land after the Ottoman Empire broke up. And so I do believe that we can absolutely, once again, reach a point where they can all live together and coexist together. And so I believe first we start with a ceasefire to make sure that no more people have to die.
And obviously the national election is coming up. Of the two main party candidates, Harris and Trump, do you have any preference for when it comes to the Israeli-Palestine issue of who might be better, or what are your thoughts on that?
So unfortunately, I do think both of them, and this is like an individual statement, but I do believe that both of them are terrible, and both of them honestly don't really show any kind of progress towards ending this or really giving us a real solution. But I will say that Kamala Harris has hired Tim Walz, and Tim Walz has been very openly with a ceasefire statement. And Kamala Harris has promised to be able to create also a ceasefire. And so we are all running on trust right now. And, it's just a very terrible time. Because, again, we're getting back into this lesser than two evils, which is very tiring to go through over and over again. So while I have a slight preference to Harris and Walz as a campaign, it does not mean that I view them as some kind of hero to our plight.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.